With a fear of a looming recession, this beloved telecommunications company, Telus, has dropped 23%, getting hammered, but with an attractive dividend yield of 6.2% and paying you $1.45 for every share that you own just for holding it is becoming very, very attractive. With a yield of 6.2%, that's a higher yield than banks, utilities, or energy companies in Canada. So Telus is looking very, very attractive. But is Telus a really safe company to invest in? And is this a dividend trap? So in today's video, I want to go through its recent financials. I also want to look at, is this dividend safe? I also want to look at its upside versus its downside. Now, remember, everything I say in this video is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own due diligence. So let's get back to the video. Whenever I look at a company, I like to look for a company that grows, and makes a lot of dough. So when I look at Telus and look at its recent financials, it generally looks like in the right direction. We could see its user base is increasing. It's got great revenue. It's got strong free cash flow. But there is one slight flaw, and that is its earnings. Its profitability has been trending down over the past 5 years. Now, we could blame it on, recent events like COVID, a high interest rate environment, which has caused it to, not do so well. But I want to know, is this a trend that could happen in the next 5 years? Now, the good news is that Telus is definitely profitable. It's still profitable in the double digits. We know that Telus's profitability has been dwindling in the past 5 years. Probably the biggest reason you'd invest in Telus is because it pays you income just for holding on to its shares, which is at a great attractive yield of 6.2%. But we got to ask, is this dividend safe? So the first metric I look at is its earnings payout ratio, which is basically saying how much of its profit is it paying back to you and me. And I like to go for a target of less than 75%. And as you can see, Telus has a whooping crazy payout ratio. So the next metric I like to look at is, let's look at its cash flow payout ratio. Maybe that's more sustainable because Telus is on fixed contracts and it gets a lot of cash every single month. So maybe can afford to pay out its dividends. So as you can see, based on its cash flow payout ratio, it's looking a lot more reasonable. So in terms of dividend safety, it looks pretty decent. Now, what I love about Telus is that it's been increasing its dividends for many, many years. And most importantly, growing its dividends at a crazy rate of 7% for the past 10 years. Now, if it can continue on its trend of 7% growth year over year, using the rule of 72, which tells you how long it would take for its dividends to double divided by the growth rate. So 72 divided by 7, which means 9 years. Telus, if it could continue the same growth trend, could double its dividends in 9 years, which is amazing. But if we go down to the investor relations, we could see what Telus is actually projecting. So you can see Telus is still projecting a 7 to 10% growth over the next 2 years. And their long-term payout ratio target is still 75% of its free cash flow payout ratio. Now, they are super transparent. They say that they will reassess this every single quarter. And if the financial situation changes at any time, they can change their dividend decision, which means that, it may not grow at 7 to 10% for the next few years. So let's look at the upside versus the downside. Well, Telus has a very strong track record of paying its dividends and doubling its dividends in the past 10 years. It has a good trend of increasing its revenue and its free cash flow. And if you believe that more of us are going to change over to the 5G network, Telus is in a pretty good position to gain more clients and keep them forever. But let's talk about the downside. For one, I really don't like its profitability trend going down over time. That's making me nervous. And if interest rates continue to rise over time or get really, really sticky over the next few years, the it makes me nervous with Telus having a super high debt, which means it's going to eat into its free cash flow and eat into its profitability even more. And if you want to see how other telecommunication companies have been beaten down lately, you could just look at Verizon and other telecommunication companies in the United States. And it'll give you what the future could look like. So for me personally, I'm still holding onto my Telus stocks. I'm still collecting money every single year for holding on to these shares. But I will be monitoring this company very, very closely. And I just hope that it can continue its revenue and its free cash flow trend over the next 5 years. And if so, then it can continue to grow its dividend. Now, if you are interested in Enbridge and wondering if this company is a safe investment, you might want to check out this video up here. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.